parents said, hey, mtoto ametomea msichana amesomea struggle.
Sasa mwenyewe alikuwa 1 something.
I'm drive Mercedes, I'm drive EV.
So you have to pay for all that because that's pressure.
Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're joining us on yet another episode of Life with Noni Muthoni. Thank you so much. We are grateful that we could have the pleasure of being part of your day, and we are back with another interesting episode. And I am joined by great people once again. They are back. Wamekuwa wakinuza, when are we coming back again? So I decided to be very merciful and allow them to have them back. And I'm so grateful that I could have you guys back. Do you need to introduce yourselves? For the sake of the new subscribers.
Absolutely.
You can introduce yourselves.
So,
and say who you are.
First of all, we have a family name now.
Oh yes.
Yes,
the Njoroges are in the house.
Yes, they are the Njoroges. My name is Jonathan Njoroge. Yes, and I'm a simple man in Kenya.
Yes. Jewel Wangari. Njoroge.
It's good to have you guys back, and as you can see from the title of today's video, we are talking about unnecessary cultures and traditions that are really affecting relationships and marriages, especially people who are getting into marriage and even those who are already in marriage. And so I have the pleasure of having the Njoroges share on this candid conversation just to hear what are our views. So you guys stay locked, and we hope to engage well and bring to you to shed as much light to edify and to enrich you with this conversation. All right, you guys are ready?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
But before we get into the gist of things, we are going to be starting with a game, as is the tradition in this channel. As is the tradition in this channel, we begin with an icebreaker just to set things rolling and to just give us a very light atmosphere. All right. So you guys know how the game is going. So it's a whisper challenge. You're competing against each other. So wear your headphones on. Over loud music, I'll be giving 4 statements, and then you have a maximum of 3 repeats. So I can't repeat more than 3 times.
You?
Yes, I'll not repeat the statement.
And us? How many times do we need to say the statement?
So until you're able to read my lips. So if you are able to read my lips and get the statement correct, you win.
But
so you're competing against. Yes.
Okay.
So I'll only repeat it 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys are ready? You put on your headphones. Put loud music. Na hakuna kucheat. Unajua kuna mtu anaweza.
I look at him. And you look at me.
Okay. They are connected to your phones?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are competing against each other. May the best team win.
So who will say the winner? The audience.
See, no, I can tell. Okay. The one will have gotten most of the statements correct.
So we start the music.
Yes. Okay. Start the music. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear? I like that. All right. If you can hear this, you're cheating. If you can hear me, you're cheating. You guys are in the zone. If you can hear me, you're cheating.
Yeah, I know what I cannot speak with this.
Okay, what have you said? What have I said?
If you can hear me, you are cheating.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, we have started.
Yes, you've already started.
Okay.
You started. All right. The second statement: the ball is in your court.
The phone is in the.
No, the ball is in your court. Jonathan, you're supposed to be looking at me.
Okay, the music is over. Okay.
The ball is in your court.
Correct.
Actually, what? What does she say?
The ball is in your court.
Oh, not the phone. Okay.
No. All right, you lead it with 2 points. Okay. The next statement.
This thing is loud.
What?
Loud.
Mine too.
Alright, it's so weird. Alright. As you sow, so shall you reap. As you sow, so shall you reap. Say it.
As you sow, so shall you reap. Correct?
You're right, you're right, you're right.
As you sow,
So shall you reap. Alright, you're reading now the second last one. This one is a song. Wamilele wamilele Mungu wa baraka ni nani?
Wamilele Mungu wa baraka.
But you got it, you got it.
Wamilele Mungu wa baraka ni nani?
Yeah.
What had you had?
But you're right.
Okay.
So now the last, because now you both have 2-2.
Okay, sawa.
So the tiebreaker.
Sawa.
You both are at 2-2.
Okay.
So the tiebreaker. The last one. Jesus is the reason for the season.
Huh?
Jesus is the reason for the season.
Jesus is
Jesus is the reason for the season.
Correct.
I had scissors. I read scissors.
You are hearing.
Those
I know,
those are key phrases for normal Christian. It seems you are backslidden. Jesus is the season. Jesus is living.
No, I read her lips as scissors.
Or Caesar.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus. All right.
So we can switch off the music.
Yeah, so you can switch off the music because you can't hear me.
Wow, this is so
Fantastic.
loud.
So you're a winner.
Yeah,
Kuna
okay.
black currant imebaki pale, it is yours for the taking.
Okay, no problem. But our producer had promised that if I win, there's 1,000 bob.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Producer. Thank you so much.
Mr. Producer,
You've made
please
work
confuse
easy. Anyway, thank you so much. You guys have done well. And so, getting back, we've said we are talking about unnecessary traditions that we see that are there in marriages and relationships that really bring people down, and I call them unnecessary because well, as I had started from the beginning, and we're, on this space we are sharing candid conversations that bring light, that edify and enrich people. So when we talk about unnecessary traditions and cultures that we collect from our communities, and where I'm not saying we are not appreciating the traditions that are there that make communities very different, but there are things that really hinder the progress of relationships and marriages in today's society. So that's what I'd like us to talk about. And just to give this conversation a retrospect, we'd start with what are the kinds of traditions that you guys have had or that really bring people down in marriages and relationships.
No, you will, and then I'll follow you.
Okay, so are we talking about relationships?
Yes.
Relationships or
okay, let me start from relationships that are nearing towards marriage. For example, like things like rorashio, the things that happen. Like what I remember when I was talking to you guys about this topic, and I said one thing I really admired about yours is that yours was done, let's call it the kingdom way, right? It was the kingdom culture. Like there was no this unnecessary things, the guy has to be here, the lady has to be done for. I didn't see all that. So I loved how things went. It was such a smooth and easy event. So that's what actually inspired me to us to have this conversation. So let's start from there. What are the traditions and cultures you guys know that really bring people together?
Okay.
Yeah.
So to start with, I would not want to be a bit biased, but culture is not only African culture.
Yes.
So culture is depending on
where
you are in the world. You can adopt a Western culture, an Eastern culture, an African culture.
Yeah.
And so it's something that some of these cultures are things that we have met, we have found them, tumezaliwa tukazipata, and there are things that we just follow blindly.
Yeah.
And so some of them are good, yes.
Yeah.
They are meaningful,
Yeah.
but most of them
Yeah.
are pointless. They don't really have the foundation, and you cannot even some of our parents cannot even tell where they came from. They just follow them.
Yeah.
So some of the cultures I would say that I have experienced because I was not a believer of what I believe today. Nimelelewa with the normal African culture. And some of the cultures are really bad. Like for example, like a gentleman cannot sleep with the in-laws. Like I cannot go to Chiwell's home and sleep.
When you're married?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's a culture. Inasemekana huwezi lala kwa adhoni, huwezi lala kwa in-laws.
Even after you're married, like if you're visiting your parents.
Yeah, he has to go home.
There are another cultures that even my parents cannot come and sleep at her home. Yes, those are also cultures that you have to. There are so many cultures. If I'm trying to remember all of them in a particular order.
Any that you can remember is okay.
There are those that if that you cannot go kwa rurashio, hawezi enda asubuhi. Lazima uende afternoon to a particular place where some people are coming all the way from Coastal and hawezi kuja mapema, lazima kuja jioni and still. And you see, culture is so it's like slavery.
Yeah.
So umeambiwa usikuje kwa rurashio mapema, ukuje afternoon na huwezi lala.
Yeah, unatoka mbali.
Yeah, so sasa umemaliza 5 na afu rurashio huwa ikimbizwi. So the people take their time. So mnamaliza saa 2 usiku na lazima murudi all the way to Mombasa or whatever. Kuna curfew and all those things. There are so many cultures which you can think about. Like during the day of the wedding in the morning, like you cannot see the bride before she gets to church.
It's a taboo
and all those things. So there are so many cultures which we will remember as we continue this conversation. And when you look at the basis where those things are done, even the people who tell us to do them, they
really
cannot just explain.
Yeah.
They cannot absolutely.
And they actually end up just destroying the institution or the plan that God has for marriage, which is meant to be very beautiful. But now, because of the intrusion of those cultures, it deteriorates the whole thing.
Even the most sad thing is that these cultures spoil the relationship between the two families. So you find that you did a very good process. Yani, you people love each other, and you have nurtured your relationship from the time you met to the time you're getting married. But because of the cultures, the families do not have the opportunity to also share in the relationship. So like, for example, if I went to Akina Jewel and my parents were treated like trash, you see the relationship between my parents and their parents could have been not so good. So, and I think it's the reason why we are talking about a new way of doing stuff is because it's all about the relationship.
Exactly.
It's all about how are these people going to live afterwards. If you try separate me from my parents, they have stayed with me all my life. So the best thing we do is, it is possible for me to have a good relationship with my wife, and to have a good relationship with my parents, and also her to have a good relationship with my parents. That is the most important thing. That way she will be a very fruitful wife. On her side, I'll become a very fruitful husband. And also a son to her parents. So, and it's all about the relationship here. And as we continue, we're going to talk about more about something else we call honor, because that's another important thing about this new way.
Amazing. So I think now this begs the question of what importance is it to actually even know your partner's ethnic background, even while you're dating or when you're nearing towards marriage, because you find that I think in a lot of relationships you find people like get blinded by love, and so they don't even think it's important for me to know where this person comes from, what are things that they accommodated as part of their cultures. And so what they say at hizo tutajua tukiwa huko mbele, when you fika huko mbele you find culture shock, very weird culture shock. So what would be your take on that? Of what importance is it to know your partners?
I think I would go back to the part of you having a friendship or a close relationship with your spouse to be. That means you can tell him anything or you can tell her anything. So you don't feel like you're hindering. You don't feel like if I tell him now, he'll take me any different. You know, some people don't do them because they think if I tell him, for example, in our place, you have to come wearing, what's that thing called of the head?
A turban.
For example, like if I told him we have to come to a place, you have to wear a turban. I'm telling him when you're getting married next week. I mean, when you are going for the traditional thing next week. So I'm afraid if I tell him before, he will not accept. But if I tell him the week or the day to the event, he'll have to because he wants to get married to me, or we want to run the relationship. So I think for me to boil down back to friendship, and I think it's very important, including even how they were raised, because like now for our case, we were raised very differently. So the things I would do for him, he would think it's a waste of either money or time. Or a resource.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what I was taught. So as in, it boils down to where did you come from? Tell me what you shared.
Yeah.
Like for him, he never used to celebrate birthdays. Oh my God. Wow. Birthdays was a big thing. For me, because all my birthdays have been celebrated. I celebrated him a lot. And for me, I do not believe in doing something small for someone. I do big. So I save up for this birthday. And it's in May. So I have a whole entire year to save.
Yeah.
So I will do so many. I will save up all my money. I will save up all that I need to save up and do for him something big. But to him, it was a waste of money that time. Because it's like, why don't you just give me the money? I go buy something else. Or you tell
that
me
is more useful.
Hiyo kitu umenunua, ningenunua pesa fulani.
Badala kunipeleka Villa Rosa.
Yeah, ungenipeleka place, But for me, that even made me stop telling him how much I'm spending. Because now it looked like, okay, though now I do because anyway, he understood me now. Yeah, but I think it boils down to having a friendship with your spouse to be.
Yeah, to know.
Yeah, so they can share with you how their background was. Did they have any, like for example, did he have any scenario that hurt his ego? Then he creates a defense block.
Okay.
So that if you're trying to even talk to him about something, he cannot be able to respond. Such things. So it boils down now to friendship. Please be a friend to your spouse. I think that for me, so that you can be able to share anything, as in whatever that ever happened in your life, even how maybe you were beaten by your parents and it hurt your feet, or maybe you have your eye problems are too bad, all that. I know it looks stupid, but it actually
it's very important.
Yeah, it's very, very, very.
And do not start when you're married or you're nearing marriage. Just start when you guys kijua mko na direction. Just start talking about these things so that you can know, study your person, know how she is, know why is she doing this thing, because some of these things can be a source of conflict in your relationship, whether you are not married or whether you are courting or whether you are married. It can be a source of conflict. Like small things like in the house, there are some things she does because that's how she was raised up doing. I don't care whether she does them or not. But you see now, if I do not understand that, there will be a place where we will conflict. And now because we're talking about cultures, those are the things that have informed how she lives. And those are cultures by themselves. There are those things that mimi culture yetu ilikuwa kuna siku celebrate birthday. Nacha ku celebrate birthday very early, like class 2s, class 3s.
Okay.
Is on my time. So when you're celebrating birthday, even you stay 2-3 years without utapata tu mtu by the birthday yako. Sawa fit. So you see the culture of me not celebrating birthdays, not even for me, for any of my friends. It was something when I hear you're spending money for birthday, you're wasting money. So that's a culture that had developed. It's a system of living that had developed because of venye nimelelewa. Even things like money, how she spends money, how I spend money is very different. It leads to things like you saving, one being a spender, one being a saver, and all those things are why you need to understand where this person comes from. Now I know the other part is that's about the family, but also about their communities at large. That's what I want us to focus. So now that is another whole issue, and I'm not doing, and I would not recommend you to ask that so that you can be tribal. Absolutely not. It's about understanding where she comes from and what you're getting yourself into. Exactly. Yes. Because some can be a source of warfare. Absolutely. What you're getting yourself into. Like I remember there is a place, this is not about relationships, but there is a place where a lady married a gentleman from a certain tribe in Kenya. And when the husband now died, when the husband died, he was told he has to sleep in the same room the dead, where the dead husband is, the body of the dead husband. And it was such a hard time for her. Though she did not, she had at least some help from the pastors who were with, and she did not do that. But you see, she did not know about all that. She did not know, Also when, that they have to lazima mpaka wabebe kuku iwekwe kwa basi wakirudi Nairobi, and there were so many things. And you see now those are things, and now you see these people are already married. So those cultures, is good for you to understand them, because first of all, yes, we are here talking about there are some cultures or traditions that we have in our communities that are not godly. And we are speaking all these things from a Christian perspective.
Yes.
Because they are not godly. They are something that they are not in line with any pattern that's in the Bible or with God. And so for you to be able to beat them, there's something we call apologetics. For you to be able really to defend your faith, you have to understand it. The same way, another war strategy is understand your enemy. So if you don't understand the culture you're going to confront, so what are you going to confront?
Okay.
Yeah, so if I am a Kikuyu and she's a Meru, if we're getting married, she has to come to me and understand how do Kikuyus do their things. So that when you go and say, no, I think this is something we cannot do because it's unbiblical, she's doing that out of knowledge. So it's not to be tribal, not to make a decision of that I will marry her because she's a Kikuyu or not. Simulizi wewe ni Mkikuyu hapana, namuuliza aje. So what are these things that do you want to understand?
Actually, some even go down that route. That the parents, I have heard of people, because now the girl has been dating this guy who's from a very, another community that they do not allow in their home or in their family. And so maybe they've been dating for 2 or 3 years, they love each other and they really want to get into marriage. And they're probably even godly, they're in a godly relationship. But because the parents are, and shock on you, even the parents may even be believers, but they're like, because he's from this community, we cannot allow.
And we are going to come to that in a few, because now we have very funny kinds of Christians. Who we believe in one thing, we believe God in a certain way, but when it comes to certain things, we separate God. We remove God. We are going to come that in this. But I understand what you are saying. There are those people who the relationships zinakatiwa or anafika place anaona, by the way, I was told by my guka I cannot marry that lady, and that relationship ends. And those are things that really happen. But then it's all about, it all comes down to you and your beliefs and what you believe. Because if then you are staunch with your faith and you know that me marrying a Kisii woman does not make me a lesser man, or a Kikuyu woman is not a more godly woman than a Kisii woman. It does not happen that. It's nothing like that. So those cultures are important for you to understand. Not because you can follow them, but so that you can know how to tackle them. Yes, this is what I'm going to face. Nikienda an introductory meeting with my parents, to my parents, these are the things I'm expecting to face. So how, and you see, you talk even about praying about these things. You have to pray objectively. What exactly are you praying for? On what direction? What kind of enemy are you going to face? It's very important to understand the culture of your spouse, the culture of your fiancé, so that you can know. Usiende kule shoka.
Shock. What does that mean?
Shock.
Like
shock. Culture. Okay.
Shock.
Culture.
Another thing is for you, the spouse. For example, for Jewel, if she knows some things about her culture, during our courtship, hizo vitu za kuongea, si ulavidavi pekee. Those are the things to talk. By the way, my dad is extremely tough. Babangu hatakangi kuona Mkikuyu karibu. So muanzie hapo. So that she can and ajuange hivyo. Ama the gentleman ajuange. By the way, kule kwanza ninaitishwa milioni 3.
Let's even get into that. There's not all that pressure if you're not bringing street. There's a lot of pressures on the guys, actually. Let's even talk about that. They're pressurized a lot, until we have done this. But then I don't like them because they normally say we have tuliuza ng'ombe, kusomesha msichana, sijui tulifanya nini, tuliachilia wajakazi wengine ndio tusomesha. It's like even the guy was not schooled, he did not. So it was like he was never also brought up well. So, and then they end up now demanding a whopping 3 million for dowry. It's like, are we buying now? It's things I've gotten now into business other than boosting.
Because you are the one who are making us go through. Please tackle that space.
I don't think the ladies are always. It's not the parents, I think.
No, but then ladies have a very big role.
Yes. In supporting now them.
If for example, if my parents, all of us have turned, alright. If my parents would say they wanted to go that route,
ask for 3 million.
It is for me
to stand
to either agree with them and be against him, or for the two of us to agree on something, and that's what I
be
say.
firm.
Problem is, I would go to for example, my dad, and then he tell me, no, Jewel does not work like that, blah, blah, blah. I would go, he's my dad, man. I mean, there I'm thinking, before, as in, like, if you're unmarried, you're like, my dad is everything to me, or my mom is everything to me that time, yeah? So to him, he's not really as important. He's only important now when he puts me a ring.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I play a very big
role.
If we agree with him and we agree we are not going that route, then I have to now go and stand for him.
Exactly.
There's no other person to defend him apart from me.
Yes.
Because my parents don't know him. They've never seen him before. Okay, at least in our case they had seen him.
Seen.
But if, for example, he had never been to our church,
yeah,
no one knew who he is. They have no idea who his parents are. They have no idea what he does. So it's for me. Even if he was working, let's say, washing toilets, my dad that toilet would have been for Kempinski maybe. As in, he would have been the best if I actually on the same page with him. Yeah. So for me, I think it is. Also, I think communication now comes in even earlier in courtship. So that we agree. He tells me I have this much, and I'll be given this much, or in total I have this much.
Yeah.
So when I'm going to talk to my dad or to my mom, I already know what he has.
Yes.
So they will not come demand something that he does not have. I actually know of a friend of mine who was telling me that the time when they went to their parents to get married, he took only 10,000 shillings.
Who? The guy.
Only. He used to wash toilets, and the ladies from a well-off family, as in wale watu wenye gari she drives a car, as in but she really loved the guy, and the only money he had was 10,000 shillings. Right now he's the best son-in-law in that family. But you know what? Because she went and said, the man who's coming to marry me, this is how far he can go. You can't give him pressure. And imagine, because your dad loves you, if you don't step on him, if you stand firm on that, trust you me, he will not have an issue with it. So we have a very big role to play. Please, when you agree something with your spouse, especially the woman, just go and stand. Just be firm on, support you. Because imagine, for example, me, I went to a very good school. I started driving very early, for example. So imagine if he was not able to do all that.
No,
so
I was not doing all that.
Okay.
I did not go to a bad school, but I was living in Gara with no job, with a struggling business. And you see, vis-a-vis her going to a good school, driving very early.
I also went to work very early,
and she started working very early.
After I finished campus like this, I was already working.
So you see, we are in totally different levels.
Exactly.
In life. So if her parents said, hey, mtoto msichana amesomea
stress.
Sasa when you look at one
I'm drive Mercedes,
so you have to pay for all that. That's pressure. It's the truth. You see, we are here to speak the truth. So that's why many people, even some ladies or some gentlemen, just give up.
They actually give up, and they say they'll never come back.
Absolutely not. And you see all those things. They are cultures.
Yes. That are very unnecessary.
They are cultures. But this, supporting what she has said, the most important thing is, do you guys agree? In fact, the Bible talks about if only two people agree.
If only you agree.
If only you agree. Hata kama you are agreeing on the wrong thing, if you agree.
God honors agreements.
If you want to invest some money, and you want to invest in land and in Bitcoin, if you know that you're investing in Bitcoin and the money will go, as long as you agree,
it will go.
If one of you invest in land, which is a good investment, and there is no agreement, there is no blessing.
That's true.
The same case in this scenario, if you agree. And one statement that I learned is that how her parents view me is dependent on how she portrays herself.
Absolutely. Very simple.